playing a somewhat stronger player this time. I know the AI always says play here immediately. I'll just do what my AI sensei tells me. They say human theory used to be that the double pincer was bad for black. But the AI says whether you Tanuki or you continue playing, for example jumping or sometimes 3-3 is good, or attaching, it's but Tanuki is already good for black. This corner can still live by jumping, and it may be a good idea to live immediately. I don't think the attachment works. But the idea is just that white is spending so many moves and isn't getting much tech. If I jump, then white can peek and play the knight's move, but it doesn't look very useful if I can still jump out there, because white is wanting to develop on the lower side. It almost feels like a handicap game already. But of course, white hasn't lost that much. I think white has lost maybe 2 points, maybe 4 points from this. If I jump, I think the AI will probably say white should play on this side, but white would consider jumping down as well. At that point, I don't know if I dare to attach. It might be best simply for me to play the 3-3 at this point. It seems like a very clear result actually, just playing the 3-3. Playing the jump is a little bit scary. For example, if white jumps down, then I'm aiming at attaching, but even after that my corner is still sealed in. This way round I'm aiming at the large knight's move, and this lives pretty comfortably. There's no particularly worrying shape points. I assume I'm just going to take the outside here. My corner I don't think my corner's dead, that's the thing. Even after whites takes it. And I still have forcing moves around here threatening to connect up. So why not? I don't see any particular reason to try to live in the corner at the moment. I could play here and cut. The thing is, my shape looks so bad, it doesn't feel right. White is threatening to double honey to make shape. Or probably not double honey actually, but there's a peep and then another peep. Doesn't look quite right. My instinct here is to take the outside. So at this point white has to cut and take the corner. And in taking the corner white has to connect. To cut, Atari, capture, connect. Then I can maybe jump. At least if I can get this Kusumian Sente, then my corner doesn't look dead. Maybe it is actually dead. No, it can't be dead. I think it's a ko or something. I can Kusumi and then Kusumi. It's not great to live like that. The main thing is just that I get profit on the outside. And then, since I still have a cutting point to aim at here, White's outside isn't really thick either. I would probably start by pushing up, and then in some variations aiming at this knight's move, which would directly aim at cut, but also aim at giving white a hard web strike, another strike. If white's not going to continue here, then I can connect. That seems a bit crazy. My instinct was to Tanuki, but now I look at it, I could try to attack my opponent a bit more severely. I do need to be a little bit careful. Locally there's the attachment, but I can just capture the stone, but white also fixes a lot of problems like that, so that might not necessarily be the best move. It might be best just for me to back off. So I could even consider playing this Kasumi. But it feels like it doesn't really solve my problems. Because white can still block. I still have several cutting points. So I'm a bit tempted to start fighting here, because I feel like there's a shade point here. But if white does actually push and cut, I'm not sure I'm all that confident about this fight, because I'm quite low on abilities. The simple move would just be to back off, and let white take that side. I mean, there's the whole rest of the board to think about as well. If I just back off, white might jump. Well, I'm not sure about this move. I'm just a little bit nervous that white will get a large area here. That's a move I definitely want to Tanuki. I still haven't yet figured out which area is the biggest. And white's next move is still probably wanting to develop the lower side, or approaching around here. It just feels like white has so many weak points, but I'm not completely sure how I should be aiming at them. mean, it feels like I really should be aiming at this nice move. It's a bit scary for my corner, but my corner's alive, so I might lose some points, that's all. So I haven't really completely worked out what's going on in my corner. Can I afford to Atari? I mean, obviously I want to Atari and then push, or maybe connect. Connecting might be better so shape in this position, because white connecting is something. But pushing is still quite tempting. So I do have to be quite scared about my weak points, I think. So I was thinking that I was going to enter here. I'm also looking at this sort of move, but it doesn't seem to work just yet. I don't really care about these stones so much. It's not really my style to fight so aggressively. I really want the territory actually. Very unexpected move. I automatically want to fight back. I don't know if it works. I don't know what my opponent's plan is here. I thought I could just extend, and then white has a lot of different problems to do with it. Because I have the ladder in this direction, so I'm threatening to take the same ladder. But I think white has to extend now. I don't think I can actually Atari it down because I don't have enough liberties. So what do? I can push. If white extends, then I can Atari it down. And if white defends, then I can play here. But I don't think this fight is very clear for me at all. Because I'm investing a bit too heavily in that group that I said I didn't really want to invest in. If I really need to make shape for this group, I might need to depend on this sort of attachments. So it's gotten so complicated. While I was playing very aggressively here. I think white should be aiming at trying to do something against my corner. Yeah. Did I have any other moves? I don't feel I had much of a choice at this point. Once I cut, I had to extend, I think. If I pull back, then this just gets carried. But I didn't have to cut. I could have gone in on the outside. Then white would pull back. Now I would have to make some shape. white will jump. I guess I just didn't like the look of it. This looks very complicated. I'm not completely sure that this works for me. It's not clear at all. Okay, if white extends, I can Atari and then connect. I don't actually see right now what white has against my corner. The key move is this peep, and if I play the empty triangle, white can connect up underneath. But if I play this empty triangle, then there's another peep here. I can make an empty triangle, but then white gets this sort of Kasumian center. So, but I can block, and then when black can't play, white can't play it here because I still have liberty for that. No, even if I didn't have that liberty, I could not. So black white can connect, play down. I think I'm right. It's tight. I really don't have many liberties. I mean, letting me get this bump is it's actually quite a shame point. I don't see what white has got in return for it. Because white did have a move to cut off my 4/4 stone and pretty much capture it while still threatening this 3/3 stone. Uh, Probably white wouldn't want to do that anytime because I get this Tari. And then I have Miai going into the corner, so that's really, with 2 minutes, I still haven't decided what to do against this. So if white extends, then I can Atari and push. I can push several times, I think. I can push twice, and then push here. So it'll be a capture race. And my outside isn't strong, but it might be okay for now. Black white can peep here. If I'm really trying to kill this, then I have to kind of connect them. Then my shape really is very squeezed. I need to attach, possibly. Is it good enough to sacrifice these 2 stones? If I can live on the side? The thing is, I'm not actually alive, I think. Especially as my corner's not solid. Or I could go for a more simple variation, but it's over-investing. It might be over-investing in this week. I can push. But I guess if I can capture these cutting stones, it really makes a huge difference to what happens on the rest of the board. And that's an if, though. I'm not 100% sure I can capture them, but it does look like I can. Because if white cuts here, then I can Atari. Then I won't descend, but I will Atari and Tiger Mouth. And then we'll have to see what happens in the corner. White can push and cut here. That's forcing honey. And it looks like I'm dead. So that does mean I have to Atari first. Then white can sacrifice these 4 cutting stones. Yeah, I think I think it's better for me. My shape is horrifically bad, but I think I still have some agi with the stone at the end of that variation. I can play around here. But white does get a lot of territory. But then I have an attack on this group. I can jump here or something. That was a bit unfortunate. Okay. How did this work? Okay. The problem with this shape is just that I'm familiar with this. I know that the AI says that this is good for that. So this used to be the standard variation. I mean, after all, before AI, we always used to play in another corner, but the AI says it's super important to add another move here, whether it's the 4-4 or the 3-4. These are both standard shapes. And that playing another corner is a mistake because it's just too severe. It's funny that it's severe on white, not severe on black. Just because white's not getting enough territory. So at this point, white really should be taking another corner. And yeah, frankly, at this point, white should probably take another corner and then just play away. There's no good move here. If this was at a lower point, then there would be some kind of an attack. For example, if this stone was here, then 3-4 becomes a key point. You shouldn't play here anymore. Because if we have something similar to the game, then this is still a Joseki. I think it's slightly better for black, but it's still a game. And then both sides can tanuki at this point, or black can consider pushing. And then since white has the supporting stone here, white might be able to extend. But this would be a fairly even result as well. That would be a normal Joseki. When you have the high stone at the 6-4 point, those things become impossible. So if you do something like this, you can't hane anymore because, yes, you're still kind of aiming at the cutting point, but this is too good for black. You can still jump out. Not sure. I don't think black needs to press. Black will probably 3-3 still looks okay, but it's also interesting to approach from this side now and reinforce your wall there. This shape is where black wanted to play anyway to defend the shape, and this white move, even though it is kind of taking away an eye, it's just a waste of a move at this point. The lower side could become black territory if you try too hard. Your follow-up is here. Actually, that is very big. Maybe black can consider adding another move now. Not sure, but around here is an idea. So you're not going to play in the 3-3, but there's no reason for you to attach either because black has a perfect result there, and you haven't really profited from having the first move in the corner. You've probably lost something here. Locally, you want to do something like this, but for now, black can still get out. You still won't move around there. So maybe you can play here directly, and black doesn't have to respond. Later, black can consider playing these sorts of moves as well, or just the more solid options. This is the most, well this would be the most solid. This is still worth a move, because your corner is not 100% the right. So I don't think this is great, even though it's a human move. Black isn't going to play here just to let you get the 3/3 so easily. Then this is really good for white. White's moves are still good shape wins in black, hurting black's shape, because black just doesn't have a great move there. You can try to attack on this side, but white can get this sort of shape. Actually, I'm not sure. White might be able to get away with not making that exchange just yet, even. So only when you honey, then you play. Actually, but then black might not connect anymore. So it's a bit hard. Maybe you should still play this exchange. And black's shape leaves a lot to be desired. It's just white has perfect shape. Every move is working to surround the territory. Whereas black's wall is just helping white surround territory in the forefront. And even though this stone is right next to black's wall, it is giving black an extra triangle. So it's still doing something. And it has a follow-up roll going down. So white plays away. I think that's fine. Locally, you can consider. Sorry, white didn't play away. I think locally you should play the 3/3 one, probably. If you really want to play another move, sometimes you can consider jumping. Maybe you can consider jumping this way. I don't know what I would do. Maybe it's probably Tanuki again, because it's hard to find a move. And for example, this time if you add another move at 3/3, then well, maybe that's not quite right, but you can still sacrifice this sort of thing. White's not going to respond either though to this sort of move. But that's the sort of agi you have. If you play directly, there's always going to be this sort of agi. You can see that even though you've got the first move, at least this way around black isn't going to play that horrible shape here. Black is going to be able to get out in nicer shape. And for the moment, this doesn't work because black can attack. So this doesn't work for white just yet. So black's shape is okay for now. Later you can get this sort of exchange. But black shape is better than before. Better than black going here directly. So there's still that sort of annoying agi. If black plays first in this corner, 3/3 is quite standard, and then you probably have to play here, and then both sides can tanuki, or you can continue with this sort of move. The reason you don't want to attach is that you might get blocked. If white doesn't play this, I'm not sure white really wants to connect here, but it's certainly still a move. White could also probably tanuki in this position. For example, if black cuts, then you can play here, and at least you're still threatening to capture the 4/4 step. So black can capture on this side, that's fine, but you're still threatening to capture this step. And black will take center here to play somewhere else. You're not really threatening to extend. This is probably too much to sacrifice. Actually, black can push once more. So this is too bad for white. But white could also tanuki again in this position, because if you add another move, then white could tanuki again, but white could also consider this move. So essentially black is already getting sealed in a bit, and that's not what black wants to see. And yes, black is pretty scared about this, because if you cut, then white just... Your stone is almost in a net. In this corner's fine, but the shape looks a little bit vulnerable. If white can jump later, or Kasumi. It's not clear that black stone on the outside is ready to. So the shape point is to play here. Later, white can play here, but it's probably not big enough yet. Well, actually, in this particular position, white isn't even threatening to capture this stone, so white can just do it. I don't think black has a... Normally black wouldn't have a better move than descending, but there's also various agi of, say, peep. The white will... White can consider descending. Basically, if white connects, then you can get this result, which looks okay. So white probably won't play here yet. But if white doesn't play there, it doesn't look like there's a particularly great move to follow. For example, if you play here, black could play on the other side again, or just play away. And sometimes there's still a dangerous peep that black can play here. But black probably doesn't really want to invest too much in this peep, because white bumping is going to cut black around here. There's plenty of other moves though. You can jump down. Again, probably white needs to connect the stones. If you play here, probably black is going to go out this time. And white will continue like this. Using the fact that white has this move in center to cramp black's corner. Black probably needs to push out on the side, one side or the other, to counter attack. If white is too thick on the outside and you don't want to fight, then this is perfectly fine as well. It's not so interesting to Kasumi out anymore, but it's still something you're threatening. But you do have a problem if you try to Kasumi out, because white has a peep here and can maybe get this reading center. Or you can attach directly, but it's a little bit risky. It's probably fine actually, but it just feels like this white move is at the shape point. But it feels like black has enough stone to... White hasn't done enough preparation. Okay. The main problem with attaching is that you make white thick, so that when you play here next, it's not center anymore. It's not got any particularly good follow-ups to attack white. Yeah, I don't think this is a great move. At this point, you still kind of owe a move in the corner, I think. White kind of wants to attack this corner somehow. Maybe jump. For example, if black still jumps, then this corner is getting pretty cramped. It's still not dead, but it's painful. And black will still be able to push in on this side. It's still a bit painful. It's understandable why white didn't want to do that. Maybe it's not great to add another move in the corner you spend so many moves on. I think white playing here makes sense. You're trying to build from this wall, but it's quite painful to let black go. Yeah, I was thinking a bit here because thinking a bit about this, but I didn't like the look of it. I thought that white will probably still continue here, and actually this corner looks quite dodgy to me. Maybe it's fine. I can still cut, but it felt dodgy. Actually, there's this sort of actually. What's going on? Actually, since white has stones on both sides, white can kind of descend on both sides. So this corner is already almost alive. So it does look very risky. Very risky for black, I guess. But in this shape, I can't play here anymore. That's why we're just. So that's why the 3-3 makes sense. This is a bad move, I think. It doesn't do anything if black just gets out on the other side. Maybe white thought this was already white's territory. I was just trying to capture black. But I don't think there's any great follow-up there. Later, you can. That's not really a good thing either. Maybe you can play something like this. It's not going to be forcing on black's corner though. It's not that good. Sumi might just be better to play a bit more tightly. Because black's corner is still a bit cramped. You still want to make use of this Kasumi. Still going to be some problems here. For example, with the Kasumi, you're threatening to play this peep, so it's forcing. Black's going to have to respond, then maybe. But I don't think you have that much. You have this attachment, but that's it. I thought that white had to cut here. I mean, capturing the corner is still pretty big, even if it's not dead. I was wondering if I should push here, because white's trying to develop the lower side, so it's still pretty big to keep going. I thought that white would respond, but it's not clear that I can actually fight here. I don't have many liberties in the corner, so I can't really fight. So maybe this is not actually good for me. I could I could play this sort of shape when just saying immediately I'm about to cut. Actually, that's probably a lot better than pushing. If anything, I want white to push. If I don't play here, I'm scared of white playing around here, threatening to might attack my Kabuki. But to be honest, I think that's not really a big threat either. It's not as if the lower side is that big. There's still the whole rest of the board. Think about it. I also have this peep, threatening to attach underneath, and just make white's corner a little bit smaller. Also threatening push and cut still, a little bit. Locally, if I can also Kasumi. If white blocks, then what is this? This is already alive, isn't it? This is unconditional life, I think. So yes. But if you play on this side, then I'm gonna have different agi on this side. Probably you descend just to get more points when you kill this. Wait, isn't this? This is already alive. Okay, so if this corner is just not dead, then I guess it is very painful. But so you have to Katsumi. Well, then it's still Ko, isn't it? Still Ko. What do you play here then? I don't see it. No, sorry, you just play here. You just play here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This corner is dead, and then I have some agi on the outside. I have some problems with my life and death. I missed this 2-2. Okay. Yeah. This is probably not such a great game. Because after white honey, if I can't cut, then there's no reason for me to push. I could consider playing here though. I still really want to eye this cut. It might be too much. Yeah, I don't feel that extending here is a move. Taking goto for this doesn't seem right. Even playing away might be better. Because I still get this key point. That's already gained me a point because it stopped white's. For example, even in this position, white still had this sort of agi. It's not great, because I can Atari here, and which fixes my problems. But it's still threatening the corner as well. So it's still a move. I don't know if you should start trying so forcefully to connect up. Probably there's no other move. Once you've already invested in this. If you play around here, it's not clear what you're trying to do. I'm not sure what my next move is here locally, but then the thing is, white probably doesn't have a follow-up locally either, so it's probably, well, I guess I can jump. And then white crawls and I just play away. And that has stopped white from playing here. Because if white still tries to play here, then I can just easily get up. Yeah. I mean, there is actually still some agi, but for the time being, white has a lot of problems. Okay, so the game I played here, I was scared that white was going to jump if I pulled back, so I couldn't see a good way to evade her. I thought it had to rely on me playing around here, but I couldn't yet see what profit I could get from playing here directly. Probably I should still aim for this, and then white needs to play around here. But I guess I just couldn't see what my next move was going to be. It doesn't look that great for me actually. Yeah, I don't think this looks quite right for me. It's playable probably, but for example, this squeeze doesn't yet work. But if that doesn't work right now, then it's going to take a while to make it work. Maybe I could consider invading around here, actually. I feel like I didn't manage to attack this white shape enough. It seems pretty big to add a white move around here. I could just consider playing like this. White is really going for the center here. But I have some problems because there will be moves around here that threaten both sides. If white doesn't play here when I push here, it's a bit annoying. Maybe it's okay. Maybe that's still not quite right. Maybe I should play here first to stop white sealing me in the center. So basically at this point I could consider playing here. Oops, that's not what I meant. And then go for this sort of thing. The thing is, at this point I didn't see a good move, which is why I didn't choose this variation. It feels like I could end up damaging my corner. But I also felt that if I didn't invade now, I might never invade. I mean, I guess I can play something like this. If it really turned out like this, then I'd feel okay as back. But white might have a more severe way to attack. Okay. Start here. No, no, no. So I play here to slow white's expansion down a little bit, but I think white can still consider jumping. I felt that the normal move would be to probably take the pawn like this. I don't know what I would play if white still jumps. Maybe just kick and somehow sacrifice this. White would probably play away at this point. There's still some high space in the corner. I didn't feel satisfied with my moves though. This was asking white to defend, but I think if white just defends, white's shape is kind of okay. And then I still need to spend time thinking about how I'm going to reduce the zero. I could just forget about it, ignore it, and keep going. I think actually it's still a good move there. I'm not sure if that should push this shape. Maybe it's right. Given that the corner is a little bit lighter. And something like this. Looks quite scary. A lot of points. My areas are still uncertain. I didn't really like that. But white just ignored my threat. I was thinking about pushing. Because you haven't yet got this move, and if you do want to exchange this, this is a little bit painful, I think, because you lose the idea of attaching. Even at this point, I think you can consider attaching it. Maybe that's a good way to fix your weaknesses. Because if you play like this, then my shape is pretty bad. It feels like white has already gained something. White will probably just take this turn. And I still have to spend another move, and then white playing here is still something, so that's bad. And actually, no, white playing here is not something. No, white playing here is not something. Okay, but it's just painful. But if I pull back, then I'm not alive. If I want to make life, I kind of have to do this. That's very, very painful. Might be even more painful than the previous variation. Because at least like this, I've captured a stone, and if you pull this out, at least I get this push. Sorry, no, maybe not yet. Maybe I can go for this sort of exchange. There's still a lot of agi with these guys, and maybe both sides will make it. I still this Atari's. It's very annoying. So maybe it's a good idea to just ask what I'm going to do, because also that is going to short my own liberties. So it will make a small amount of difference to whether I can cut. Maybe, but I'm not really sure that my card here works either though. If I could push and white can't cut, like this, it seems like white would have to or like this, then I would have to. Alright. Probably is alright. And black. And white can get out like this. I can't go back here because white will extend. And white has the ladder. So if I play here, then there's so much strategy. I'll put this and for the time being, white even can attach. So, so yeah, I should just Atari here, I think. But I don't think white is dissatisfied with this. You can lean on my corner to make some shape. White's not going to be attacked so severely. Or you could maybe consider playing something else. But I feel like if you don't honey, then your shape is probably not pretty good. Probably still have to king. White is almost already alive if white gets this kick. So I didn't like the look of this. And that's also why maybe my cut here was a bit of an overplay. But on the other hand, this still looks very awkward for white because this white group, I'm still aiming to attack it. This sort of peak. Maybe that's not good if this is okay, so probably the third line. I'm not sure about this move. It was tricky, but I think losing these four cutting stones is painful when this shape is still unsettled, because then white playing here is no longer sente, and then this white group is going to be weak, a long-term problem. The solid shape to get out would be this, and it's not necessarily bad, is it? I mean, your shape is pretty bad like this. This is what white didn't want to see. And then attach. I think I have to attach, otherwise my cutting stones are going to get killed very soon. Because white playing around here is not it. Oh, what? Yeah, now I get honey. For honey once, and then turn. If you don't turn, then you get white, black can jump or something like that. Keep here to get that. No, white, black already has the so on this side, you still have this sort of shape, maybe? No, maybe not. Maybe you don't. The thing is, I don't know what to call these three stones. Are they almost dead? If white has a move? They seem almost dead. Yeah, this is probably too much, just too big a sacrifice there. You can't really... Black is probably capturing too much from this side. Even though this looks like it's very, very severe, but the thing is white's shape is still a bit clunky. It's not clear that white is really going to be able to capture. So if you play some middle move, I'm not sure this jump actually works. You can just push, but still a cutting point. No, there's not a cutting point, and then push down, and I think black's dead. So probably black has to play something like this. At least black has the ladder for this. That's what I meant by the ladder. I feel like black owes a read around here, but maybe black doesn't yet have time for that. And can black forcibly seal this in? The problem with this is that if black has to play this to get more liberties, then it might not be so great. But it does look quite risky for white as well, to be honest. It might be better for white to see me and just keep pushing. That's very crude as well. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's not. It's still very complicated. It's not necessarily good for white. Yeah. Because this group is just such a liability. And this is the area that black wanted to. Well, black wanted to reduce white's point anyway. So if white can't make enough territory out of this jump, then it's not going to be good. If white really needs to prove that this jump is working, so basically seal back in severely on the lower side, or capture some group. If that doesn't work, you can consider. I think you can still consider this sort of thing. Just make life. If you anticipate that black is going to play this sort of move, well, these are cutting stones, so black has the same thing. When white turns here, black will probably play here, and white can already tanuki now. This is already live, so could try to make life with this group. Shoulder hit probably, or continue attacking. There's still a cutting point here. I'm not sure it's that big to get out of here anymore. It's still worth considering. Yeah, maybe it's good. On this side, what black wants is to keep them send though. Black will probably ignore this move because white's already alive there now. Okay, this looks very risky, but it was very complicated. Again, I think you can consider just Tanuki. Probably a ladder breaker? This corner, there's 3 moves already. It's not going to die. So probably first exchange these things. Yeah, I didn't really look after this corner very well. It's probably bigger to push now that I look at it. Because white's not alive now. And that should be fine. And white takes go to it then. Not sure. That probably needs to capture this stone. If white could take Sente, white can probably take Sente here, right? But that is such a big move. I still want to take Gote, I think. Because this group has so much more airspace now. It's much thicker. Yeah, I'm not sure this is great for that. This Tanuki is not attacking anything. All the white stones are alive. Yeah, I was trying to read these variations. I was wondering if I could Atari and push, not that one, push, push, and maybe that doesn't work. See me then? This is still very cramped. There might be some Tsuji in the middle. Yeah, like that, like this. It's still a problem actually. It's a very awkward shape. Maybe you have to do something around here. Thing is, if you play here, then this is trouble. Hmm? I think it is. And black is in deep trouble. So what do? Probably not. If you can get this exchange, then I'm still in trouble actually. Yeah, it didn't look great, and also black is in trouble on the other side. So around here, for example, something like this, you might end up sacrificing the side a little bit, but white playing here is still sent in against the corner probably, in double honey, and squeeze black. That didn't look great. However, I had decided, it took me a while, but I had decided this was what I was going to do. Probably white can cut, because like if I play here, then white plays here and I'm dead. And yes, this is center, threatening the ground. Actually, white could be, I think white can afford to jump. And well, probably white continues with this. And this fight looks good for white, because white is almost connected. And I've already lost a lot of points here. So locally, my Tsuji is to honey and mouth, and white can push through and capture these three stepping stones, which is pretty important. Maybe it's not good for white though, because if I can get this, for example, you can't run out here because then I connect. This is horrific. You can't really connect, can you? I can extend once and then extend. Black is already live. This shape is so bad that it feels like it can't be good for white. Then honey, and connect your stones up, but not that well connected. It's kind of connected. If they can connect with one move, then maybe you can play them. Still have attachments. Probably simi and touch, something like this. The wedge problem might be okay. Yeah, if you scale of the wedge, maybe tap off the one. I'm not sure I'm that scared of the wedge though, because it damages white shape. Okay, black's completely alive. Black is almost connected to the core, so it looks fine for black. Losing 3 stones is painful, but it's this letting your opponent go into this shape. Yeah, I was actually planning to Atari at this point because I didn't want to lose these 3 stones, but I'm not sure that's a good result. I have to connect, I think, otherwise white will capture those stones in the center. And cut. So this was my planned variation, and I was saying there's still a little bit of agi around here, but actually not much. Black is very alive though. It might be good. The problem with this is that I can peep around here, and these stones are very weak. So they urgently need to make life. But even like this, they can push and peep. So that's not a lie. Actually, I don't know how you make life here. So maybe my plan was actually quite good. It's still quite valuable to save these stones. White has bought quite a bit of territory, but as I've said, it's not really much territory, given that there's still an invasion around here. Still some bad out. Yeah, it's quite hard to choose between this squeeze. But actually, I'm sorry, white can't play there because I just got on. So yeah, it's quite hard to choose. Yeah. But in the game, I think Bennett just stopped playing. Um, yeah. Yeah. Now that I look at it, I'm not really not sure that this fight was good for me because my corner was too weak. I didn't see what else to aim for. If this fight wasn't good for me, then I shouldn't have played this match. Yeah, I should just invade. White can attack with this one, maybe. Maybe then I'll play the nice one. It just doesn't feel quite right. I couldn't see where my eye space was coming from. I guess this I shouldn't be thinking too much about the weaknesses in this fight. It is pretty well made. In that case, maybe I should just show it. I think this makes a lot more sense. Just I need to make life. I shouldn't. If I haven't made life with this group, I can't really attack this weapon. For example, like this. We still push. I'm not sure if you should push again or not. Maybe actually you need to go back here. So just don't push at all. Mhm. And then back. Yeah, this seems reasonable. I kind of assumed that black had the ladder for this cut. Close. Yeah, black does have the ladder. Not that the cut is particularly big. I mean, black would have to sacrifice, but it's still pretty useful to have the ladder. Uh, yeah, I was thinking too much about the weaknesses in this shape. I shouldn't be thinking about the weaknesses here because my own shape has problems. I should defend first. Yeah, so shoulder hit and just allow white to have this side and aim at the Kasumi because it's such a big move. And that makes more sense. And again, but pretty much that means I think white playing here is not a good move because if I play here and white doesn't have a good move, it doesn't look good for white. Yeah, actually at this point I just don't see a good way for white to deal with this. You can maybe play here and hit. My high stone is feeling bad now. If I play here, then you just push and cut. What do I do? Disconnect? Can I afford to play it? I don't know. If I just connect, I'm kind of aiming at Kasumi, but white will probably defend it now. And my own shape is still very much floating. The whole reason for playing so close to white was to aim at white's weakness. So maybe I still have to turn. Find some place to attack. I still don't know where. This is standard, but it might not be enough pressure. But it's actually a very important shape point for fixing white's problems as well. Maybe it's good. This, we might get into this. Actually, white might still. Not sure it's good actually. Maybe white should just. Yeah, I feel like I don't have a good solution to this peak. It's just very tricky. But maybe I shouldn't have pulled back either. I think I can consider some other moves. The thing is, I still really want to attack this white group, but maybe it's not so interesting because you start attacking white and white just ends up naturally fixing this weakness, which means I don't manage to get this sort of big territory point in center. So I think my game plan actually does make some sense, but it's just I think I was too hasty to cut when my own corner had some problems. Oops. Or maybe I shouldn't have, sorry, I should just ensure that I can play here in center. Actually, this is quite an idea. I can already aim at this, for example. Maybe it's not a good idea right now, but this might be better though. Because I'm actually quite happy for white to push around here, I think, because my corner is a lot more solid. Connecting here is not something, I think. I was worried about this sort of thing. This sort of thing. But is this alive? I think it's alive. Play here, I play here. Play here, I play here. I think I have enough liberties. But in the game, it did seem a bit more risky because black-white had an extra step here. I mean, even playing here seems to be alive. Yeah, this is just second. Okay, so of course white will actually play here. Short liberty. But it's still second. But there's also this move that I have to be wary of. And if I play here now, then white seems to be alive in the corner. So I that's this move or something. So my shape definitely has some problems. This is dead, isn't it? This is dead. So that means I have to block, doesn't it? And you can still attach. something like this. This is very, very painful. There's no reason to be attacking white in this situation. And if I play here, then you can just connect up. You can push first, and then connect up. You can't in this case, in this shape though, because I can honey. But in the game there was this connection. So actually my corner had some serious problems. Okay, I guess if you attach, then I need to honey. Capture this down. I'm not dead then. I can still honey. Yeah, all that happens is that white can profit, but white's still not alive, so it's okay. White playing here is Sante. That does make some difference. So yeah, I think playing here was probably an overplay. And I haven't said the most basic problem either, because white probably should have gone this side. I think. When I seal white in, white can just go back to low. If you jump, you can attach. Actually, if you attach, then I can honey. And it's not necessarily good for white, actually. But the key thing is that if this is Sente, then there's nothing really to worry about with this move. If worse comes worse, you can live like this. You can live. Maybe you can even live in Sente. If I connect, is this already alive? My life and death. So P. This is Seki. This is Seki. So if white just lives in Sente, that's not great either. And I don't think there were as many problems in white shape as I thought there were. It's not necessarily best to connect either. Probably it's better to make the value. This is not necessarily bad for black, getting this wall, because there's still some problems, but maybe not as many as I thought there were. I think like the direct move is okay. Just when black is solitaire, because black has this. This center? Yeah, black has this move in center. So actually, I'm not sure white can afford to fight it. It looks like white can't. You're not. Yeah, there's too many problems in this game. Probably just press and keep pressing. Maybe it's best to defend the shape. And then maybe honey. Just keep going. I guess actually this is not necessarily working. I think it's working. I don't think this quite works for white, but there's still an attachment here. And you're losing territory. the simple move may be just to extend the white will jump, and then you just play solid. Looks okay. But or maybe honey and then is it? It's another idea. Yeah, you're threatening to attach. This should be good for black. And if you play here, then with the problems in the corner that there were, cutting is still big. Might be able to get away with this, but the shape looks so awful. Looks good for black, I think. So there's still things I can do here. Maybe it's best just to give up on stones. Just to nick it at this point. Or maybe it's not. Then there's an invasion. Okay. Yeah, it's just the main thing is I felt that white's shaken this on the side of the board made no sense, so I wanted to punish it. Okay, thanks for watching.